My hometown is Rome, which is arguably one of the most beautiful cities in the world. As you might expect, people living there face the distress of being constantly invaded by tourists. Platforms like Airbnb or Booking created amazingly efficient markets where house owners can rent their properties and tourists can find accommodations at very reasonable prices. This phenomenon completely reshaped the city with winners and losers. My main research project focuses on taxation of digital platforms. Platforms have heterogeneous effects on our lives. On one side, platforms generate an immense value, allowing us to make our life easier at extremely low costs. On the other side, they have a disruptive effect on society. We feel like there's an uncontrollable force that has been unleashed. And that's one of the reasons that made me realize that we need a solid economic theory to study digital platforms. And we need to understand how platforms work in order to harness them for the common good. For a very long time, digital platforms were able to substantially reduce their tax liabilities, taking advantage of the non-physical nature of their operations. In response, many countries and international organizations put in a coordinated effort to introduce the ad hoc tax regulations that target digital economies. But you need to understand that taxation has distortive effects on markets. So, for example, you can think on the consequences that taxation has on prices or on the volume of trades, which is going to affect consumers. And moreover, digital platforms are deeply intertwined within a larger market where many similar goods are exchanged. What I study is the impact of the proposed tax regulations on digital platforms, particularly focusing on the distortions that they have on the broader economy. Recently, there have been heated discussions on how to regulate platforms and particularly on how to tax them. So platforms generate a lot of profits. They brought a lot of value to economies, but for a long time they were not taxed properly, so that they took advantage of an unregulated market, taking a larger share of what is due to them. So what I hope my research will do is to better inform the public debate on tax regulation. And what I think we need to understand is that digital platforms are a complex market structure. They're very different from traditional markets, so we cannot use traditional tools in order to regulate them. We need to make an effort to understand how platforms work and to assess the consequences that taxing them could have on the broader economy, given that platforms are so much deeply intertwined into the societal structure and in the economy. Since I was a teenager, when I was watching the TV or TV shows and talks about very important things that affects our society or economics, I was always surprised that academics were not really present, or at least not as much as I would have liked them to be. Like, to me, a researcher is a person who literally devotes his life to investigating a tiny piece of knowledge. And the fact that talking about these matters, academics are not that much involved was completely I couldn't find a reason why. So when I started first doing my PhD, one of my goals was to kind of become immune to this kind of system, have my own ideas and be able to support them and kind of fight this system when public opinion completely leaves aside academics. Being in academia, I kind of understood what is the reason why academics are not that much involved in the process, and the reason is that people like easy things. And they like difficult things to be explained easy. So I think that the reason why academia is not that present in the public opinion or in TV shows is that it knows the value of explaining our things in an easy way and is not willing to compromise truth with easy and understandable explanations of things that are much more complex than that. And that is kind of one of the things that I understood, which made me realize that academics should make an effort into appropriating a bit more the public opinion, and that they should make a coordinated effort into finding a way to breach into the opinion of people and make them understand that reality is much more complex than what we see in TV shows.